Welcome everyone to more live coverage of YCS London. Good morning everybody. I hope you guys got well rested. I sure needed that extra hour. I hope you guys got the benefit from it too. 8 rounds in the books at day one, 3 more rounds to go, and then top 32 cut. We have 2 awesome duelists today, 2 also world competitors as well. All the way from Sweden, Herman Hansson. Hi. So, how was your trip here, man?
Sorry.
How was your trip?
My tournament has been nice so far. I'm playing. I'm playing a weird deck, so I have a ton of people coming up to me and asking what I'm playing, how the deck is doing, and stuff like that.
Okay. I mean, it's a sort of, and I'm not going to hint to it because that'll give it away. But you've been known to play at a very high level, being able to compete in the worlds and stuff, with very niche and interesting decks and stuff. Why do you actually do that?
I think it's fun to build decks, and I like playing what everyone else is not playing because I believe that gives me a chance over the rest of the competition.
Okay, so you basically try to have an unorthodox method of being able to play an event and nobody's being able to side deck properly against you, not knowing exactly what your deck does, and you basically bring a surprise factor, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, well, thank you. Take a seat and your opponent will be right with you. And then, we saw him at YCS Gent. We got to feature him. We got to talk to him for a little bit. He's an awesome person. He's always awesome to talk to. Joshua Schmidt. Hey, man. Last time we talked to you, you were kind of on the fence of whether or not to kind of keep on competing. You said, I'll probably just do YCSs and stuff, larger events. Stuck to it. Of course, going for that top 32 spot, being a former worst competitor, what's that been like? And what's the event been like for you?
It's been a cool event, except for I've lost 7 of my 8 dice rolls yesterday, but it still went well. So I'm just hopeful that it's going to get better today, especially against his deck, because I know what he's playing. So it's kind of important.
Of course, going deeper into a tournament, playing more rounds, you're probably able to take a look at your opponent next to you and see whether he's playing, or you ask information, mind gaming and find out more stuff to do to play against them. So, do you think, it is a bit of a testy matchup? Do you think that you probably be able to pull it through, or?
I think it depends a lot on who can go first. I do think either of them has a fair chance of winning the matchup. I don't think it's super good for either of the decks, so we're just going to see how it is.
Okay, Josh, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Take a seat, and we'll be able to get this match underway. Now, introducing our casters for this round, Stephen Jacobs and Marcello Barberi.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Round 9, YCS London 2019. Marcelo, we have like a stacked match. 2 big names, big players, went to Worlds. And as JJ already mentioned, Herman is playing an odd choice, 60 cards.
Absolutely, he's always one of those players that really shines in deck building in particular. And we saw both of these guys at the World Championship this year. They actually prepare for the event even together. Joshua going there for the playoffs, which he won on Friday, while Herman was one of our players that actually got very far at the event, doing the top 4 at the European Championship. With a very interesting deck. He was also playing a Thunder Dragon Guard, but very different from the standard Crusadia Danger deck. He used Dragon Act and the new Ib Synchro, and now with even more cards, and although the new Forbidden Limited list basically left Agar Pain and sent it away, he still managed to find a way around this deck. And yesterday I was walking through the tables, and it was basically at table 1 the whole event.
Yep.
He eventually lost a match. These guys are both 7-1 at the moment, so incredible record. But he's still playing a 47 combo deck with a lot of different engines and the new cards. So the Star Liege Seifert it's a really interesting one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more interesting cards from the most recent TCG set, and it's just a big boost for basically any dragon. I mean, you can search Wyver Burst or Collapse Serpent Search Levianeer, get it back from your graveyard. It does so much for the deck. And it's definitely a card that, you know, we expected that Guard Dragons with Nibiru kind of faded away, and the Forbidden Unlimited list as well. But Herman is doing good.
Yeah, it's working out for him. Well, his opponent, also one of the most famous players in the game and also an innovator in deck building. In the interview we had with him in YCS Kent, he told us that he doesn't have as much time, and I think you can see it in his deck choices. Usually he tried to play something very innovative. Now he relies on, like, for example, for this event he's playing pure Orcust because he knows that his tactical play is better than the average. It's working out for him. I'm excited about this match. Who is going to advance to an 8-1 and probably go to guarantee a top card. Let's go to the table.
Let's go. Okay. So as mentioned, the die roll is super, super important. Joshua already lost like 7 die rolls, as he mentioned. So let's see. He again lost it. So that's
a huge one. I feel like more for Joshua than it is for Herman. I feel like Herman deck is so interesting that even going second he can push through boards, but Joshua's deck not so much. He's using a lot of entrops. Unfortunately, drew only the Phantasme. He really wants to maybe look for those DD Crow and Ash Blossom with it, but
yeah, an interesting one. Joshua May making the double DD Crow.
Yeah, something that we have seen more and more at this event, I feel like. Where do you think he's gonna use it? Right away, just to try and hope for an entrop? Because you know that deck summons multiple links.
Yeah, exactly. Now we can get a search. I mean, the potential end boards that Herman can make, they are just disgusting, really
terrifying,
disgusting.
Really.
Like Appaloosa with 3 or 4 negates, Titanic Galaxy. He can pump out multiple negations, and he really needs the Phantasme to potentially draw like that crucial hand trap.
And not only that, he can recycle like Diabolos and Levianeer, which means you can start even with 4 cards in your hand, which is just brutal at that point.
So revealing the Bigfoot, I think.
Yeah. So something important to mention as well is that this deck... and it gets sniped though.
It's tough luck.
So the Thunderbill will try again. So I was saying this deck seems like it loses a lot to Nibiru, but unfortunately Joshua is not playing it, not in the main deck, not in the side deck, which is very surprising to me.
You think he had any reasoning for that? Maybe the logical aspect for it?
I think it's very interesting, especially because when we talk to other pure Orcust players, they told us there is a very neat play that you can do with the deck where you go first, you have the Babel, and you can use the Nibiru, then an Orcust, and it will resolve as much as it could, which means it's very synergic with the deck. But Joshua doesn't think he needs it, maybe because it's such a wide format, he expected more rogue decks, and you can see it especially in his side decks when he has a lot of like Red Tribute, Twin Twisters, so we'll see. But now still holding the Phantasme, and unfortunately kind of a misplay from Joshua, I gotta say, because now the Appaloosa is live, and he will not be able to use it.
Yeah, Herman pretty much has full combo. He can end with multiple negations, he has a full combo ready.
And maybe we will see the new Star Leech here. Do you think Joshua... I mean, this deck, this version especially, isn't that popular, so maybe he wasn't expecting that Appaloosa to come down, and I think he might through the game if the Phantasme is never going to be able to be on the board. Because right away, like right now, not only did he fish for entrops, but it also contested the Appaloosa because it's 24.
Exactly. So there we see. Safe rotating the field.
Yes.
So he does have a couple of options. So he's immediately sending the level 8 away. So he should indeed search Diablos.
It's, as you can see, like Agar Pain's gone, but the power of this deck is still there, using new cards, so...
Managing the safe, so probably getting back the Levianeer as well. It's so crazy. I mean, the fact that you can special summon Levianeer twice, you can only use the effect, of course, once, like discard, sending something from your, of picking a card from your opponent's hand. But it's so crazy, crazy card,
And I really enjoy that you can use a lot of new cards. Here is also the new Dragunity Link that gets you the Raven. Initially, the players use Eclipse Wyvern, then, of course, you go Forbidden, and then you use the Brotor. Now, not even the Brotor anymore. So it's very cool that you keep on changing the dragons you can get with LP, and it's very impressive here from Herman. As you can see, what he said in the interview is very true. When you are playing a deck that basically unique in the entire room, sure, it can go wrong, but it can also go very right, because you're going to have an advantage against everyone.
And you see how fast Herman is playing. Like, he really masters the deck. And as you mentioned as well, he's like always, especially at past YCSs and the World Championship in Berlin as well, he's like always playing the Dragon variants, Thunder Dragons, and Draconnet. So he's really, he has really mastered his combos.
Absolutely. And again, here is the card for you guys to read from the new Chaos Impact set. So it's a really good set, I think. There are a lot of cards, like you see the Masquerena as well, being summoned by him, and it's really an interesting one. A lot of cards that change the way that you build your deck rather than maybe introducing a completely different deck, but it's still very impactful. And you can see here, he even has access to the Thunder Dragon engine. That's absolutely impressive.
So Diablo's effect.
Yeah, it's getting to be nasty, kind of. Yeah.
Again, that shows how winning the die roll is, especially here, was so important.
Yeah, because as you can see from Joshua, he's also relying on the triple orchestrated return strategy, which is working out for most players. We see Rafael Neven as well using it, and he's also X1, so... Yeah, he wasn't supposed to shuffle because it's top or bottom, but I'm sure they can fix it easily because the card was, of course, in the system, so we know what it was shuffled back. Luckily, it's not off stream because that would have been a game lost most likely, but we do know what the card was, so it's very easy to be fixed.
Did you feel that like dragons / guard dragons would do this well still, like after the Forbidden Unlimited list and guard Agar Pain being banned?
I would need to go back and count how many summons it take to go for the Appaloosa, because if it is within 5, then maybe it is a very good deck, because if you play around Nibiru, we didn't see a lot of Dark Lure no more, which would be, of course, one of the best answers here, but also this board is very good against the super polymerization, so...
Right.
Yeah, the 38 is definitely gonna come down in here, so... Yeah, it's gonna get negated, and Joshua has seen enough. Game 1 goes to Herman. So
yeah, again, basically full combo. The Titanic Galaxy protecting the somewhat weak Appaloosa, but again, what can you do? What can you do?
It's a lot. Like, you're starting things off with 4 cards. It would have negated the Phantasmi, but once more, I gotta feel like a little shaky for the plays that Joshua had. If he dropped the Phantasmi at the beginning, he basically got screwed by the Appaloosa, and he didn't think about it. And I'm very surprised, because Joshua usually is a very analytical player, and
yeah, maybe he was expecting another monster, another Link.
Yeah, he probably didn't think that he was gonna come in that soon, but I think Herman has a really good plan, and now the lead is very important, because no matter what's gonna happen in Game 2, he will get to go first in Game 3, and with Joshua not even siding Nibiru, he could be in trouble, but...
At least, yeah, Herman, I guess, doesn't know that, so he still needs to...
he's still gonna play around.
Yeah, exactly.
And taking a look at the side decks, though, Joshua is most likely going to go first now, trying to set up his Orcust combos. Do you even think Artifact Lancia is that powerful against Herman? It's kind of on the weak side.
I'm looking at Seyfert, that banishes something, maybe the Leviathan as well.
Yeah,
so,
but it's not really impactful, I gotta say.
No, not really, not really.
And also, you can see, I think he's siding out a lot of the cards that actually banish, which is very next level from Herman. And probably Mind Control could be a good one from Joshua, but going first, not so much. So I don't really like any of his side deck options right now. Going first, maybe the Diddy Crow for sure is going to come in, but do you side anything else?
No, like Mind Control, Red Reboot, no Twin
maybe
Twister,
the Imperial Order if you're feeling like your opponent could have a melody or an allure.
Exactly.
but-
Yeah. Herman is running a couple of spells, so maybe the like stopping the crucial melody or a crucial allure might be important.
Yeah, but in almost 50 cards, there are only 10 spells, so that's also kind of shaky. Well, Herman is siding in his Entrops, he has Lancia Impermanence, and even Dark Lure no more, which is
Right.
amazing against the Joshua. So
Right.
I feel like Herman has the advantage of it all. Let's see how it goes, though, because Joshua has quite a few different options in the opening. Usually you saw the Orcust deck just going for the Crescendo.
Yeah.
Now you can do a few other different things, so we'll see which path he goes for.
Interesting one that Joshua didn't pick the Luna Light variant. Again, as we have seen from Jesse Cotton last week, like the UDS. So I kind of expected Luna Light Orcus to be maybe more popular than a pure build.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think it was more of a surprise that Jesse Cotton won last weekend with the Luna Light deck, because everyone thought that deck more than the Orcus Pure needed the Mermaid, but with the Curious being so easy to be summoned, they found a way around it. So Joshua and needing one more card, because something probably devastating he can do. Ooh, he doesn't pick it up though.
Not looking too good. And yeah, the Foolish Burial, of course, a starter.
Very unfortunate, because what I was saying is with the Eastern Fusion, you can set up the Winda, which is just like I think Herman doesn't have any out to it.
Yeah.
But if you needed any monster, really, that's very unfortunate that he picked up another Phantasme, because now he will be forced to use the instant more of as an extender, let's say.
Yeah, other than the combo ender to end with Winda. Yeah. So there it is. So Herman already opening with double Seyfert. That's fine. You can always search out, let's say, like your River Burst or Collapse Serpent. The Allure of Darkness as well. No information about the other. Does he play like a lot of hand traps?
No, I think the others, unfortunately, are some dangers, because they are not in the system, because Herman deck is so big that he basically used the back of the paper to write some cards as well. And we couldn't really tell until a few moments ago, but the rest of his hand is going to be dangerous,
probably
and
dangerous.
the main semi-limited ones. So.
Right.
It's a pretty decent hand, I would say. But still, Joshua, at least he opened the Crescendo, which means that he will be able to start things off with both Babel and it. So there are definitely worse hands, but drawing the instant and not being able to set up the Winda, gotta feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's just basically a win.
Again, some pretty standard Orcus combo, so nothing really
outstanding, I would say.
Yeah.
And the Masquerena
Masquerena as well.
Down. Yeah. Pretty good start
That's cool.
still.
Yeah.
Because you have the Babel, you have the, as you can see here, he's gonna use the ARP just to have the Unicorn option. So it's still very, very powerful opening. The only thing I'm concerned about is that I think he's gonna shotgun the Masquerena into the Longirsu, because otherwise the Crescendo is completely dead.
Right.
Let's see how he decides to go for this. Do you think he's gonna just wait? Maybe.
Might be. Yeah, he could also lean on the Phantasme.
Yeah, so Thunder Dragon is picked up. Pretty good to just lower the cards in your deck and hopefully draw a Thunder Dragon with that Allure Darkness. Still kind of considering the lack of the Crescendo at the moment. Let's see. These two draws are really, really important.
Yeah.
He's gonna fish for any of the Thunder Dragon, hopefully. What can he pick up? Melody.
Melody is strong.
And Dragon Act as well, a pretty good one. Okay.
Yeah, two very strong starters. Yeah, definitely.
Not a Thunder Dragon, but still pretty decent. Let's see if he has enough to push here, though.
So how many interruptions does Joshua have? He could go for like Unicorn. He has the Dingirsu engraved.
Dingirsu and the Counter Trap, so potentially at least 3, plus the Phantasma in hand to fish for Sonata Trap. So it's a lot, but The problem is that here, if Joshua doesn't have the crescendo ready, then you can Levianir and destroy everything that Joshua has set up.
Right.
Which,
Yeah, he definitely needs to keep track of the grave.
yeah, he has to be careful because he might need to just go for a Longirsu. At the moment, of course, only 2 monsters in Herman graveyard, which means he doesn't have to do it right away. But as soon as the third hits the graveyard, then it's a big problem.
Yeah, and then, well, the Jackalope, right? Yeah, Jackalope was dropped. Okay.
There are more than 6, so I'm not sure how they're gonna do it with a die roll, but yeah, maybe he's just gonna...
You should just pick it, yeah.
Yeah, you should just shuffle and pick it, yeah. And that's what they just realized. It sometimes happens in Necros format, since we've seen it yesterday, where you just had so many cards,
Right,
but...
yeah.
Okay, one of the better ones, the Thunder Dragon gets sniped, and
Yeah,
now is Joshua time to decide what to do, and even the impermanence is picked up, not so great, but nice backup. It's tough, because what can you even do? If you go for a Longirsu, I guess you have some protection, but then they can even just summon it and not use the effect, and they're gonna force the symbol. It's a tough one. Well, he definitely needs to do something, because if he doesn't...
he needs to sacrifice like a potential interruption. He needs to choose.
And what's not that great is that he needs to do it prematurely, kind of.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel that great, because then it's like you're almost using 2 interruptions for it. Yeah, and he's gonna use the symbol out of them.
Herman is looking really confident. If you look at his body language and his face.
He definitely knows what he's doing,
Yeah,
which is always a good feeling, to be honest. But now the crescendo is live.
Of course.
Which also means that by summoning the Galatea there, it cannot be destroyed by battle, which is a very good thing. And yeah.
Right.
Problem is here is that the Dragon Neck is also gonna come down, and you can do quite a few things with it. Let's see. Joshua still has the option, but as we were saying, that Powerhouse with Levianir was essentially taking away not only 1 but 2 interruptions from Joshua, which means that this Phantasme is gonna be crucial. Hopefully he will not forget to use it early as the last game.
Yeah, it's something just to ask maybe in the post-match interview or just ask after the match, like, oh, maybe he was thinking something completely different or expecting something completely different. I mean, you're just, again, playing in a feature match and just like thinking all like the situations and maybe overthinking, that might be a thing as well.
Again, Herman showing no hesitation at all, just going for it.
Right.
He knows that Joshua, I mean, of course he doesn't know his hand, but also it's possible that since these guys prepared together for the World Championship, they're still in contact, and it's possible that they know each other deck list, and especially the Nibiru luck.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We can ask about that as well, but now the Phantasme comes down.
Finally.
Yeah. And he's gonna also use the Masquerade, it seems.
Right.
For all of them, oh, maybe a Bomber Dragon.
Yeah. Topologic is probably going to hit the field.
Oh, the new one, yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So Phantasme resolves first. He drew the Lancia. Okay, 1 more interruption from Joshua, so very fortunate there.
Right.
He will be able to stop the Levianir in end, which is a pretty big deal from Herman. Not gonna be pleased by that, but... And also is gonna stop the Word Chalice there. And here is the Zeroboros. So
Right, also one of the new cards, right?
yeah, one of not as new, but yeah, from the structure.
The structure deck, yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely a very good one. And I think Herman has seen enough. Yeah, he picks up his cards. We didn't think it is gonna end that soon, but the Phantasme was too much, and we also knew about that. It seems like he's thinking still, not yet picked up, but because the new effect for anyone, you can see it on screen right now. So it basically banishes everything. It's kind of a nuke effect.
Right.
Very, very strong card. Do you think he's got the upper hand at this point? Or
I think so, yeah. I mean, just looking at his body language, he's still, at least I feel, he still, again, has so many plays ready. He still has, like, Leviah near in hand, like Seifert as well. But did he use his normal summon? Yeah, I think so, the Draconet.
Yeah, the Draconet came down. And the thing is, the impermanence might help, but not too significantly. Not sure what they are arguing at the moment. Probably just some translations about the effect. But yeah,
Herman
is done.
Okay.
Makes sense. You don't want to set the impermanence if you're not committing to the field anyway. So you can caught your opponent off guard. But now the power of Zerobros once more. He comes back. So he's probably gonna push for damage at this point.
You think Joshua is in a good position now?
I mean, you gotta like it because you cleared your opponent board. You just threw into a Cold Body Grave to potentially stop an end trap if it's there. You have a lot, so you can try and push for maybe a Butter's Word, but you just have to be careful about the Zerobros. But doesn't seem like a big deal. You're definitely happy with this, and you will see if the impermanence is enough to stop this, because maybe then Herman has a chance once more. Shouldn't be too complicated, and Joshua is not gonna give Herman a turn if he can. But this... Okay, so impermanence comes down. Because, yeah, Zerobros has even one more effect, which is gain 200 for each banish card.
All right. Okay.
Which,
I overlooked that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
That explains it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Herman's still alive?
And there are a lot of banished cards at the moment. There should be at least 11 to 12 banished cards, which means he's over 5,000. Kind of forced to use it.
So the thing here is that Joshua already used up his crescendo.
Yeah.
So he's planning the triple return, which could lead to some extra hand traps, some extra interruptions on this part.
Especially after siding, you have a lot of very useful cards to fish for. Can he pick up any of them? An impermanence, very, very good pickup. So looking good for Joshua here.
Yeah, looking much better than a couple of moments ago.
And to be honest, yeah, there are a lot of Orcust and normal summons in the deck, but I think it was pretty much half Anthrops and half engine cards, so it makes sense that he drew at least one of them. And here you can see, even after the new Forbidden Limited list, Orcust still being one of the best decks because of how difficult it is to just stop the cycle from happening. Like, they always have resources in the graveyard, and unless you can always do like an Abyss Dweller or Lancia every turn, it's tough.
Yeah, that's the thing. The fact that it's first of all so splashable. Like, a lot of decks could just incorporate that small Orcust engine as it was before, and again, just a normal summon of, let's say, Mathematician, Armageddonite, or Scrap Recycler. It just enables your starts up your engine, and the engine is so strong.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Now Herman finally realizing there was even a Lancia in Joshua, and so the score is even 1-1. Closer than we expected, I would say. It seems like Joshua opening was way too good for Herman, and now we're gonna have the most interesting duo, because Herman is gonna go first. We saw in game 1 how explosive his deck is, and without Nibiru or Dark Lure no more from Joshua, it will be tough.
Yeah, it's definitely important to let him at least something like Phantasme or let's see, double, 3 DD Crow when he sides in the third copy. The impermanences as well. So okay, he does have quite a couple of, but he needs to hard draw them in one of his 5 starter cards.
Absolutely, and not all of them are as impactful, I would say. Probably impermanence being one of the best ones, but. Shaky. Some of them are very shaky. So, as you can see, nothing too weird from Herman. It's a combo deck. You really don't want to side a lot of cards going first. So, he's only keeping the Lancia from the side deck, and the rest is just gonna be combos.
Would you prefer something like Guard Dragons now? Let's say if you would like go into a YCS like 10, 11, 12 rounds of Swiss, and would you like risk it?
It's tough because I think Nibiru is one of the most popular cards of the weekend, and you really need to have a deck that plays around that well. Like for example, Pendulum, where you can go for all of the mythical beasts before the Cerberus, and then the Jackal, which negates it. If you play a deck where you can go for Appaloosa within the 5th summon, which isn't super easy but it's doable, then it's a really good combo deck. Otherwise, I really wouldn't risk it.
Right.
Let's see here, because if in game 1 Herman was more confident, now, unless he knows Joshua deck, you gotta expect Nibiru from him.
The thing is that Herman, correct me if I'm wrong, but he hard opened with the Draconet in the first game, and as we have seen, one normal summon of Draconet could instantly open up like your whole combo.
Absolutely.
if it's uninterrupted, of course.
It's by far the best opening of the deck, and the only real normal summon of the deck, I would say. You can use Star Liege as a normal summon, which is fair enough, but most of the time you're gonna see it summoned from LP, I would say.
It's basically your Eclipse Wyvern 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. And arguably better in a way. It's tough because he can also search for the small dragon, so the Collapse Serpent.
That's the thing. That's again some extra extenders here.
Yeah, depending on what you need. And yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
one last game, 15 minutes or more, which is plenty of time for these explosive decks.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
Okay.
I see decent and a couple dangers, nothing too special.
This
And
safe
from
first?
Joshua, I believe there is double Ash Blossom and a DD Crow.
Okay, that's
So-
strong, very strong.
Yeah, it's a pretty good hand. There are 2 hand traps in his hand, and maybe he can just use the Ash on the Allure right away.
Right.
World Legacy, you really don't want to open with. It's what you're searching with Ib. Do you think he's gonna Ash? No. Okay.
Probably not. Okay.
Can he pick up a Thunder Dragon? That would be so good from Herman. Doesn't seem like it
One
did.
of the dangers, yeah, Mothman was
Yeah.
banished. Yeah.
And Joshua is incredible. Like Return plus R4 of Nightmare is really good. And with double Entrap on top of that, I don't think you can wish for anything more. Ooh, and it got sniped as well.
Very unlucky, as we saw. And was then game 1
Yeah.
where the danger Bigfoot was also.
The game 2, yeah, as well. Does it happen again? It doesn't, but the old World Legacy was also a very useful one. He needs
Yeah.
something like a Draconek. Ooh, and another Levian here. This might be rough from Herman. So the new Star Liege at least, gonna be very useful to go for. As you can see here, you can see the difference between the Star Liege and the Eclipse, but Ash Blossom comes down, and I don't think Herman has much to do. Maybe with the Levineers he can think of something with the Masquerina, but a rough one. I think Joshua might actually have this.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see.
So he only has 1 light, the saved in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And no, Mothman was
He
banished.
passed, just passed, and
yeah, that's not looking too good.
wow,
Okay.
he's gonna go for it, and now he has even the other Ash
Yeah.
Blossom for next turn. It seems like this is just gonna be Joshua's game.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate that Herman basically lost to himself. Like, he couldn't get things going. And
That's the thing, right? He's playing a heavy combo-oriented deck, and let's say if you're going first, you only have your first 5 cards to work with, and you're playing, or Herman is playing like a 47-card build.
Yeah.
So it's a risk. It's a risk.
It's an all or nothing strategy, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, not working out for him.
He drew the Phantasma as well, so
yeah,
DD Crow,
it seems
Ash
like it's
Blossom.
such a good hand now. Especially, yeah, because his deck does require a few cards to work with. It's not like you can top deck and just go for a combo.
That's maybe the big advantage, I guess, that it like pure Orcust has over the Luna Light build. That
Yeah.
it has like more spaces in the main deck to incorporate hand traps,
Exactly.
interruption. So that's probably one of the reasons why Joshua picked that pure build over the Luna Light one.
Yeah, because it's consistent, and also as we were saying, you either play something that you think is way better than everyone else, but in these wide formats, you usually play something that's consistent, that can get you there. You rely on your opponent, wrong deck building choices or wrong technical play, and that's one of the easiest way to top, not to win the event. I don't want to jinx it. Of course, it can still happen, but usually, if you are a player of the caliber of Joshua, going for a standard-ish deck can get you there at least to the top cut, and then anything can happen.
Right, right.
And yeah, this is very good here. Yeah.
Herman only having, I think, the double divine here. That's basically it, right? No extra cards in his hand.
That's it. And he doesn't even have it live. Okay, that's a pretty good draw, but still with 3 hand chops from Joshua.
Right. Yeah.
How do you go through this? Also, as you can see in the graveyard, there is the new version of Ash Blossom being played by Joshua, which is available in the Dual Devastator. All of the spooky sisters, let's say, were released with the new artwork. And
it's looking really cool. When I first saw that, I was like, huh? Is that a new card? Oh no, it's Egg Blossom.
It's a very innovative one. Something we've not seen a lot of in the game.
Yeah.
Ghost Bell, I think, is one of my favorites of them. It's a pretty good one, but now again, same situation as before. Even more advantage from Joshua. It's gonna be tough, especially because he has the full informations. You know what's pretty much most of the cards are there. So
he has so many interruptions ready. He has a Masquerina play. He has the hand traps, of course. Babel.
And here he's just gonna use the Unicorn on the Wyver Buster, and I think it's gonna be all over. I don't see a way out of this from Herman.
There's also not enough targets, right, in his graveyard to banish.
Yeah, and then Shake comes down. Joshua wins the match and advances with an 8-1 record. But let's go back to us for the discussion. Yeah, match. It
was a strong opening from Herman in game 1. Definitely showing off all the combo pieces and all the combos that the deck can do or could pump out. But in game 3, it was lacking the big starter card.
We definitely would have liked to see a game 3 that was also back and forth. Because to be honest, the beginning of the match kind of was. Like game 1, maybe not so much, but you got to see how good Herman deck is. It's quite unique. He found his way around the combos and the new cards, the new Forbidden List, but still, congrats to both. They're still in competition. So Herman with a 7-2 record, he will need to win most likely the next 2 rounds. But Joshua can probably afford just 1 win, which is really good. It's also just the beginning of the day, so they're getting warmed up. But I feel like the technical plays outside of Joshua, maybe in game 1 with the Phantasmi, was quite on spot. But before going to the interview, we would like to show you guys what the breakdown for countries and decks looked at the beginning of the event. So I'm going to bring you guys up on the screen the country breakdown. And this is what it looked like at the beginning of round 1. No surprise, over 1,000 UK players, unbelievable. I think it's the highest number we've ever seen on screen. I don't remember getting that many players from one single country. Usually like Germany or Italy, it's like around 900, but this is very impressive. And just like the decks, you can see there are many other countries. Even 284 other, it's unbelievable.
That's cool. The wide variety from players all over like Europe or maybe the world.
Absolutely,
America, the States
but
as well.
Here is how things change now at the beginning of day 2. So almost 900 UK players are kicked out, and other countries are starting to climb up. No surprise that Germany, France, and Italy are right there. They have a lot of very good players, but still, Switzerland especially gotta be the surprise factor. 11 players still there. So we had a few interviews and even some on stream for us. And I know that you guys though are waiting mostly for the deck breakdown. So this was the beginning.
Yeah, we see Orcust again, as we've mentioned yesterday. Again, pure Orcust being preferred over the Luna Light, which is all the way on the bottom pretty much. But as I mentioned yesterday, it's like Sky Striker. At least when I saw like the top tables yesterday, I didn't really see that many Striker decks. So
Okay.
that for me was quite a surprise.
Before looking at what's for day 2, who do you think is going to be at the top? Still Orcust?
Yeah, I feel that Orcust is definitely up there. Maybe Salmon Great Striker a bit to the bottom, I
Okay,
guess.
let's take a
Thunder?
look.
Yeah.
And still, you're right,
Okay.
Orcust even more dominating the field. 92, just really be getting there and far away from the others. The rest looks pretty similar. Subterror also being quite popular, but again, the format is very wide. We will keep on checking with you guys, especially up to the top 32, but thank you guys for watching. We are ready for the interview with Joshua Schmidt and JJ. Let's go to them.
Thank you, Steven Marcello. That was a pretty intense match. Being able to close that one out, I actually want you to walk me through all the 3 games. What was going through your mind? What was your line of thinking, actually?
Okay, so how that matchup goes is if he wins the roll, I know I have to go second 2 times if I want to win the match, and it means that either game 1 or game 3 I have to somehow stop him or be able to break his board, but breaking his board is really hard because if he just goes through with everything, it's just impossible pretty much. So game 1 I wasn't able to. I kept the Phantasme because I wanted to draw more cards when he has more Link monsters. So because I didn't have any hand trap, I needed to draw more cards. And I figured that even if he makes Apollosa, which first of all he needed Dangerous in hand to do that. He had Dangerous, but I figured even if he had Dangerous and could go Apollosa, he might not negate the Phantasme because Apollosa is only once per chain, so if he negates the Phantasma and I chain Nibiru, he basically loses on the spot, so I thought it was unlikely for him to actually negate the Phantasma, because it's just a Phantasma, it's not going to like break his board, right? And he had Apollosa for any follow-up hand traps, right? So I didn't expect him to negate, but since he negated, I had no hand traps, no Phantasma on the board, couldn't break his board, lost the game. Going first, I think I'm pretty favored if my setup goes through in any kind of way. So that's how game 2 went, and game 3, I mean, he's playing 47 cards and I opened 2 hand traps, so at some point he's forced to just pass. It's bound to happen with that kind of deck, and I was lucky that game 3 that was the case.
Okay, well then, you know, why did you actually take this take on Orcust? Because we've seen a lot of standard Orcust like play like 3 Mat Petition, 3 Scrap Recyclers, a whole lot of normal summon independent stuff. What made you decide actually going with this engine?
I mean, I do play the Mathematicians. I just didn't want the Scrap Recyclers. I didn't want to have 6 of these because I just think you draw doubles of them too often, together with some of the Orcusts also being normal summons. So I wanted to have like special summons in the form of Instant Fusion that can also summon like Winda or Thousand Eyes, which are really good going first and second. Call by the Grave, which is really big because if you do get your normal summon hand trapped, it's really bad normally. But it also solves like Lancia post side and stuff like that. So I decided for these kind of tech cards, and I think it's a little bit more on the risky side, but I do think that this format with Orcust, it's kind of what you have to do, because otherwise it's just too fair of a deck.
So playing more of a lean strategy, a bit lower to the ground, limiting your normal summon, focusing more on your special summons, and putting more importance on your normal summons, get more tempo in the game. So right now you advance to an 8-1 record, and around 9. Do you have any idea, do you think you're actually going to be making it into the top 32?
I mean, if I win one of the next 2, I'm going to make it. I'm pretty sure, so looking good. Yeah.
Well, wishing you the best of luck, Josh. Good luck in the next round. There'll be more live coverage after this.